Here we go. So we are going to look again at our brisa, looking at the case of the missing fridge, the case of stolen fridge, and why. And I'll just go over the facts. Say hello, Colin. Welcome. And we've got
good afternoon.
Shalom Aleichem. Nice to see you. And we've got Michael as well joining us on Zoom, I think.
And who's in today, Rabbi? Just so we know from our end.
We've got these handsome gentlemen here.
Whoa. Lovely. Oh, lovely to see you there. Look at that. Lovely.
And we're all on top form.
Great.
Good morning from Michael.
Hello, Michael.
Good morning, Michael.
Hello, Michael.
Hi. Malcolm, lovely to see you there today.
It's lovely to see you.
Hello, Colin.
It's good to be here.
Good morning, Ellen. Good morning.
Okay. Now then, so just to review briefly,
I just say, Rabbi, just because I never just speak. Sorry to hijack it a second. Your Machatanister likes you very much, Alan. Your future Machatanister. They were at my house a couple of days ago, and your mother-in-law, your Machatanister to be, was speaking very highly of you. So I put her right.
She's got good taste.
Alan, what is about your Machatanister to be?
No. There's no news yet, Rabbi. Not yet.
So there will be this year.
Okay,
yeah.
I look forward. Okay, we are being recorded, so I'm mindful of what might or might not be said. Okay, so let us review where we're up to, and we're going to move ahead and see what we can do. So we are dealing with a case, we worked this out last week from the Brisa, where we've got, on the one hand, we've got Rav Huna, and on the other hand, we've got the Brisa, and we're trying to reconcile the two. Let's now think about what they say. We'll see what the problem is. And this week, hopefully, we'll move on to how the Gemara reconciles the two. Rav Huna says, if you've got somebody looking after something and it goes AWOL, that person who had that thing has to make a shavua, an oath, that he no longer has that thing. Even if he's innocent and it's all should be fine, we make that stipulation. That's one thing. Our Brisa talks about a case where you've got somebody who is looking after something, a lender who's looking after a fridge as collateral for the borrower. Unfortunately, the fridge went missing. So he lent the borrower a seller, which is a certain coin, and the seller is 4 dinarim and lots of shekels. So the lender took the fridge as collateral, so if the borrower can't pay him back, he's already got the payment there, and he can sell the fridge and get his money back. Unfortunately, the fridge went missing. It's no longer there. And there's now a dispute between the lender and the borrower about how much the fridge was worth to be deducted from the loan, obviously, because now the lender lost it. That's his silly fault, and the borrower's not going to pay him again. He's just going to pay whatever's left. So the lender, not unpredictably, says that the fridge was worth next to nothing. It was worth 1 shekel. It's like nothing. So he wants the remainder of his loan back, which is a whole seller minus 1 tiny shekel. The borrower says not a bit of it. It was worth 3 dinarim. So I only owe you 1 dinar, which is a quarter of a seller, a lot less. So Michael said last week, not unreasonably, that here we have a case of a borrower admitting to part of the loan. And when that happens, the borrower should make an oath, make a shavua. But in fact, our Brisa, we worked out last week, our Brisa says the opposite. It's the lender. What? It's the lender who has to make the oath. And we say, why? And the Gemara, and let's get this very clear in our heads, the Brisa is speaking to us from a cloud of worry and gloom, right? The Brisa is deeply concerned. It is a worried Brisa. What's its worry? Then if we go with the standard model of the borrower admitting to part of the loan, making the oath, our worry is that the lender might then produce the fridge. So imagine this nightmare scenario. The borrower says, I make an oath that that fridge was worth 3 dinar. Therefore, I only owe 1 out of the original seller. And he makes the oath, and then the lender says, look, here it is. Ta-da! And everybody can see it. What a mess it is. It's disgusting. It's broken down. It's rusty. It's got none of its parts. The motor's been ripped out of it. It's worth a shekel. It's scrap. That's it. So then the lender has So then the borrower has made a false oath, and that's catastrophic. We can't have that. So to stop that happening, instead of the borrower making the oath, the Brisa says the lender makes the oath. That's what our Brisa says. Fine. Now the Gemara says this is a problem for Rav Huna, because according to Rav Huna, our Brisa shouldn't be worried at all. Let's bring Rav Huna's idea into this case. So lender says fridge is gone. It was only worth the shekel. Borrower says, what do you mean? It was worth 3 dinar. Now, the Brisa, oh, you got to flip the oath. You got to give it to the lender. What about Rav Huna's oath? Rav Huna says, as a matter of course, here's a lender who's looking after the fridge. Fridge has gone AWOL. So obviously, the lender has to make an oath. He no longer has the fridge on his premises, according to Rav Huna. That's always the case for Rav Huna. Standard thing. If somebody's looking after something, they disappear, they have to make an oath. They no longer have it. So according to Rav Huna, once the lender has made an oath, he no longer has the fridge. There is no way in this earth he's going to produce the fridge after the borrower has made an oath as to the value. So it turns out Michael should be right. It's dead easy. The lender makes an oath he doesn't have the fridge. The borrower should make an oath that is worth 3 dinar. End of story. So according to Rav Huna, why is our Brisa so worried? What's the suspicion about the borrower making the oath, then the lender triumphantly producing the fridge? You've insured against that by having the lender make Rav Huna's oath. He doesn't have the fridge. If the lender just made an oath, he's not got the fridge. There is no way on God's green earth he's going to then produce the fridge and say, look, this is what it's worth.
Well, third party, I'd say, that's interesting. My garden backs onto his. That's what I saw standing in the garden this morning of his house. I saw the fridge.
So if the lender's going to make an oath, like Rav Huna says, you're going to smoke out every possibility. There is no way he's going to make that oath unless the fridge is really gone. So, and if that's the case, says the Gemara, if Rav Huna's oath is a real thing, Rav Huna told us this is what happens. You know, could be true, could not be true. I don't know. I got no money on Rav Huna. Whatever. If Rav Huna's right that this oath has to be made, why is the Brisa worried? Why is the Brisa doing this, forgive me, for Kroch and the thing? They're saying instead of the borrower making the oath, we flip it onto the lender, which is pretty outrageous. What, lender made an oath when the borrower missed part of the loan? Well, the Brisa says, yes, I must, because I'm worried the lender is going to produce the fridge after the borrower's made his oath. So we have to flip it. But if you've got Rav Huna's oath in play, then there's no way the lender's going to produce the fridge afterwards, because the lender just made an oath, according to Rav Huna, that he's not got the fridge at all.
Well, would the lender not try to find it?
Well, he says he's lost it. We're taking it at his word. You mean afterwards?
Yeah.
No, you be quiet.
That's not nice, is it?
Be quiet.
I'm quiet.
I support the rabbi now.
We'll deal with that. I'll speak to you later. All right. We're gonna come back to that. Very good, Gizal. That's actually brilliant. It's a stroke of genius. We're gonna come back to that right again. No, it actually is. It's
No, Malcolm.
It's actually really. It's actually really good. But hold that thought. Okay.
Rabbi, what is the power of the Brisa? The ultimate power.
Brisa is like a Mishnah. Rav Huna is an Amora. He's later. You cannot argue with the Brisa.
Right.
Oh, Brisa is big guns. The only thing better than the Brisa is the Mishnah.
Okay.
Gold standard. You know, if a Mishnah is platinum, a Brisa is gold.
Got it.
Amora is like little league. You know.
Okay, so it's got a serious amount of weight.
Oh yeah,
you shouldn't
yeah,
go beyond that.
You don't mess with the Brisa. Yeah. Otherwise, that's why the Gemara is so troubled by it. Exactly as you say.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So the Gemara says, what I'll have to do is put this Brisa in a context to make it work, according to Rav Huna. What I'll have to say is that Brisa, which is so worried and isn't reassured by Rav Huna's oath, must be talking in a case where Rav Huna would not require the oath at all. And that way, Rav Huna's gone away because we're talking about a particular case where Rav Huna's oath is not required. Rav Huna himself, if he was standing and say, "Oh, you don't need my oath in this case," and then we have to be worried, as Malcolm says, that the lender might produce the fridge later. What would such a case be? So the Bryce says, "I know." So the Gemara says, "I know." It's where witnesses come along and say that the thing was destroyed in a fire, like you said, right? It's being exploded. So let's look at that inside. Let's look inside. Right, so we're going to go from the bottom of 34b. Right, just oops. Hold on, just check you got my page there. Hold on. Hold on, you missed it. It's special to what I said.
Turn the page.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Oh, yeah, but you'll need to turn several pages because again with this scroll bar here. There, that's it. The inside, then another page. Okay, that's it. Right. So right at the bottom of the page of Lamed Adam base. Okay, well it says the inside. Let me just hold on. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Oh, hold on. Let's see. That's it. That's it. The inside. Yeah, the inside. Okay. So we're right at the bottom of 34b, going over to 35a. V'im isa, if there is this thing, a second, over the page, Lid Rav Huna, if Rav Huna's oath is a real thing, even the Mishtaba Mav, Shalom Aleichem. Even the Mishtaba Mav, come join us. There we go. Given the Mishtaba Malva, since the lender has made an oath, She'eno B'Shusay, that the thing is not, the fridge is not in his premises, like Rav Huna requires, how can the lender then produce the fridge and subvert the borrower's oath? Here we just, just a second. There we are. Second line. If we've got Rav Huna's oath, I'll just say that again. We missed Rav Huna. If Rav Huna's oath is a real thing, top line again. Since the lender, according to Rav Huna, has to make an oath that the thing is not on his premises, why is the Brisa so worried that it says instead of the borrower making the oath, we'll have the lender make the oath? What's your worry? Says the Gemara. You're worried that after the borrower makes the oath, the lender's going to produce the fridge. But according to Rav Huna, he's got to make an oath. He's not got the fridge. So of course he's not going to produce it. So in that case, says the Gemara, let the Brisa stop worrying, stop being, forgive me, verkrochen, and just have a regular case of the borrower admitting to part of the loan, making the oath. What you worried? The lender's going to produce the fridge? He just made an oath. He's not got the fridge, according to Rav Huna. So the Gemara is hinting and he's digging you in the ribs, saying that means Rav Huna's wrong. Because if Rav Huna was right, the Brisa wouldn't be worried. Yet clearly the Brisa is so worried that it's flipping the oath from the borrower to the lender. So obviously Rav Huna's oath is not happening. That means, says the Gemara, Rav Huna's oath doesn't happen. It's wrong. Brisa against Rav Huna, no contest. Manchester United versus Arsenal. No contest. No contest. United wins every time.
Oh, we'll have a ball now.
Yeah.
How did the borrower, though, why was he so convinced that the lender was not going to bring the fridge or whatever?
Well, according to Rav Huna, if he's made an oath, he's not got it. He's not got it. What are you saying? He might go, I told you to be quiet.
He doesn't listen. He doesn't listen.
He just.
No.
You're
You could make the oath, Rabbi.
I hope you
Rabbi,
didn't hear what Michael just said because he's busy spoiling my Gemara.
Yeah, no, but Rabbi, he could make the oath and say, it's gone, I don't know where it is. Okay.
Right.
But now, out of nowhere, someone comes along and says, hang on a second, I found this
Now you're doing it. There's another one.
I found this fridge and it
Colin, I hate to say this to dear friend, will you please be quiet?
Sorry, sir.
Spoiling my fun.
Colin, will you be quiet? We're in shul now.
I'm sorry, my apologies.
Bunch of spoil sports you are. You're right. You're like Malcolm. You're ganging up against me, you two. All right. Hold this thought. Okay. So again, the Gemara says, let's just go with the question when we're up to. Again, if Rav Huna's oath is a real thing, that the lender has to make an oath that he doesn't have that fridge on his premises, why then can't we allow the borrower to make the oath that the fridge is worth so much because we're not worried about what the lender's going to do. So the Gemara says, must be talking where we got witnesses that the fridge blew up. So that's what Rava says. At the end of the second line, Omar Rava says, Sheyesh Edim Shenishrafa, that there are witnesses that the thing disappeared in a ball of fire. Boom. So now there's no worry about the lender producing the fridge because it's gone up in flames. So now Rav Huna doesn't have to insist on his oath because we know the lender's not got it. We don't need the lender to make an oath. We have witnesses say it was appalling. The whole place was reduced to ashes from this fridge that spontaneously combusted. It was a nightmare. Oh my goodness, we barely escaped with our lives. Horrendous. So the Gemara says, Ihachi, if so, if there are witnesses, this is the context that you're casting our brisa into. There are witnesses that say that the thing was burned, was burst into flames. So you're saying, on the one hand, Rav Huna doesn't have to make his oath because we have witnesses that he doesn't have it anymore. But the brisa is still saying that it's not the borrower who makes the oath, it's the lender. The brisa still says that. Can't get away from that. So if the fridge has gone up in flames, who brought the witnesses in? They just came, they were lounging around. The dog and duck. They were chucking outside. They'd done an all-nighter. They got chucked out by the barn at 9 a.m. They're wandering home. They heard their friend in the basement all pop in because of a bit of fun. And they said, oh yeah, we saw. It went up in flames, my lord. It was horrendous. But they really saw it. They're genuine. You know, they're drunk as lords, but it's real. Okay. Well, they're probably more hungover by this time, right? So probably a bit ahead of the dog. In the meantime, we'll stop that. So the Gemara says, if you've got Rav Huna's oath not happening because there are witnesses that the thing disappeared in a pillar of fire, why then is the brisa worried that after the borrower made his oath, if he were to, the lender might produce it? It's gone up in flames. I'm no longer worried.
No brainer.
Right. So we're stuck. If you take away Rav Huna's oath, then you take away the need for the lender to make the oath altogether and let the borrower make it. How are you going to balance it? And then Gemara comes up.
Why is anybody got to make an oath?
Well, the problem is the bride. Well, that's right. And the bride says he does have to make an oath.
An oath that it went up in flames.
Well, no. The lender has, so instead of the borrower making an oath that it was worth so much, the lender has to make an oath worth so much. Why can't the borrower, in case the lender produces it? So the Gemara says, if it's gone up in flames, why would then? That's right. So we know further forward.
So we know about the value, how much it was worth.
Well, we don't. No, that's not. I wish we did.
But last time we were talking, Mom said it. So
and that's exactly. Yes, and that's we're still there. We're still there. Ah,
Haven't moved very much.
we need no progress whatsoever.
Wait a minute. Now,
Sure.
about everybody going down to wash and vacuum Bay. And some of the experts in these things, if there were a breach, were
No, that will not help because then the lender say, no, we have this fridge, that's all over brand new, and this is a Shrek. I looked inside, there was literally nothing there. Well, there was a moldy bit of banana. That was it. No shelves, no motor, no controls, no light. It's been absolutely filleted. There's nothing left. There's nothing. And the borrower said, what do you mean? And all Barkanzi had a voice that said, please shut the door. I had everything.
Then he said Shabbos mode.
No. And Yom Kippur mode said, do not eat anything. Everything.
Oh, you're putting the first one. Oh,
Very good. Very good. Okay, so the Gemara says, I need to be worried enough to flip the oath from the borrower to the lender. But if I'm going to get Rav Huna out of the picture, then how do I need to have any worries at all? Surely Rav Huna takes away all our worries, which is identical.
By saying what?
By saying that the lender has to make an oath he doesn't have it. How then can he produce it?
But if they know there's been a fire, where's the question of producing?
Well, that's exactly the Gemara's point. The Brisa is so worried about this oath being subverted, then instead of the borrower making the oath, as would normally be the case, it has to be the lender making the oath. But Rav Huna says lender has to make an oath, it's not his. In which case, why would we be worried about the lender producing it afterwards? So we must say we're talking a case where Rav Huna's oath doesn't apply.
How can it not be the lender if you borrowed my fridge?
Well, no, he didn't borrow the fridge was collateral against the loan. That was the case. So again,
you've got the rabbi. If you've got the lender is now saying, I don't have the fridge. I honestly, it got stolen, done, and we will accept a face value. Okay.
Right.
But the borrower feels there's something a little bit fishy here. Doesn't, because at the end of the day, he doesn't know. He doesn't know who's coming in and out of the guy's house or in the garden or wherever. Did he put the locks on or did he not? The only person that knows that is the lender.
Right.
So although he's sworn an oath, he doesn't. It's not that the borrower is saying it's not in my possession, which it isn't.
Yeah.
How about the borrower says, "I'm going to look for it. You've sworn, but I think that there's something fishy going on here. So I'm now going to find. I'm going to employ the barman, the dog and duck that knows a few bits and pieces that are going in.
Yeah.
And he then finds it.
Well, if he does, good luck to him. But the lender will say, "You're not coming on my premises." No way. It's my private home. This is my space. You have no right to come in here. Get out.
So that's what. Okay, and that's my point. Is that there is no way then that it can't. He must be responsible. It has to be the borrower who because the lender. Sorry, the lender is the only person that really does know that.
The lender takes personal offense at that imputation. No, he say there were thieves that came in the night. I know what happened. I was sound asleep, sleeping the sleep of the just, as I always do. And in the morning, I came down, the fridge was gone. I don't know what happened. My heart bleeds for you. I've no idea.
But there's not a rule that the lender said the oath, on the oath. Does he not automatically take that ownership of the oath?
Well, the Brighter says the lender makes the oath. You're quite right. That's what the Brighter. We can't get away from that. The lender makes an oath as to the value of the fridge. And why? Because if the borrower makes it, the lender might produce the fridge afterwards and prove his oath wrong.
Well, yeah.
It's blown up.
So if witnesses say that the fridge went up, then Rav Huna wouldn't need his oath anymore. We don't need the lender to make an oath that he's got the fridge. But at the same time, we wouldn't worry about the fridge being brought up by the lender after the borrower's oath, if the borrower were to make it, because the thing's gone up in flames.
But if he finds it afterwards, as you're saying,
it was worth
that's the discussion. That's the discussion. Yeah. Sorry, Colin.
If he finds it afterwards,
yeah,
surely he's broken the oath because he can't say, "Oh, do you know what? I forgot to go into the
We're getting there. Give me a second, Colin. We're almost there. Okay. So, once again, Malcolm with the stroke of genius. And Malcolm says the two witnesses don't say the thing blew up. Rather, they say it was stolen. This changes everything. So they didn't have two stories. They never said it blew up. It's a different. So we're recasting the price again. We're saying the price is talking where the lender and borrower actually hammer and tongs in basing about what this fridge was worth and how much is outstanding for the money. And then two witnesses bang on the door, they march in and say, "We saw that fridge get stolen on the night in question." Would you believe it? We saw two guys load on the back of the van and off they went. Terrible. And the lender says, "You see, I was right." So now the lender, if Rav Huna was standing there, would he require of the lender an oath that he no longer has the fridge? Sorry? I didn't say that. I said that. What is Rav Huna? No, you're spoiling my fun. Again, another one. You carried up on me, guys. So according to Rav Huna, would Rav Huna in this case require his oath that the lender says, "Yeah, I no longer have the fridge"?
Why would he need to say that? Witnesses say we saw it was counted.
Exactly. Yeah. It was stolen. We have a witness. So obviously, there's no point the lender making his oath it was stolen. It was stolen. But are we worried, Colin and Malcolm, take note, Are we worried that if the borrower makes the oath as to the value of this fridge collateral, that the lender might subsequently produce the fridge? Are we worried about that if it was stolen?
Well, it could. Yeah.
But based on the value,
Yeah.
that's actually really based on the value, because they have another problem, don't they? The other situation is, well, okay, well, what was the value of it? They were arguing earlier the value. So
we
they can argue about. We're not even near the answer.
We still don't know that, but
no, we don't know the value.
But the worry still is, if the borrower swears blind it was worth 3/4 of a seller, 3 dinar, are we worried that the lender might produce the fridge afterwards and prove the borrower's oath wrong if it was stolen?
Sounds a bit fishy to me.
But would you, if you were the Basin, would you be confident having the borrower make this oath and be sure that the lender will never ever produce this fridge?
No.
Why not?
Because I don't know. I don't know who's been in and out of his house. I don't know what's gone on.
He might go and find it. If on the other hand there were witnesses that it blew up, would you be confident?
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So if the fridge, like Robert wanted to say, if the fridge blew up, then we'd be confident that the lender could never ever produce the fridge because it's no longer there. It doesn't exist. Therefore, in such a case, the Bryson would need to flip the oath from the borrower to the lender. So we can't be talking in that case, but we can be talking in a case where it's stolen. Comes again Malcolm and says it was stolen. So Rav Huna's oath is not required, like Reverend Levy says, because he hasn't got it. But he might be able to find it in future. So right, it's exactly your point. So the price is absolutely. But even if he's we'll come to that in a second. So now the price makes sense. We don't have Rav Huna's oath, but we still have to worry that the lender might produce the fridge in future.
In that case, it goes back to the borrower.
No, it can't be the borrower, because if the borrower makes the oath, the lender might produce the fridge if he tracks it down.
So basically, it's at the time of making the oath. So basically, at the time of making the oath, I do not know what's happened to it. Circumstances change, though. Someone might say, well, actually, Jack with nifty hand, he came in. I heard him going around. He's going to make a plan. So that might come up afterwards. So he's made the oath in good faith.
That's not called an oath. If he says, as far as I'm aware, but I may be wrong. No, it's not an oath. An oath is where you man up and you say it was worth this much. I swear on my Bible oath, it was worth 3/4 of a seller, 3 dinar. That's what it was worth. That's his oath. So you may be right, but we wouldn't accept that in the first place. He says, this is what it's worth.
Is the borrower's oath, if the witness, because of the witnesses, does it not turn itself around?
Well, it depends what the witnesses say. If they say it's blown up,
if they say it was stolen,
then the borrower can't make the oath because the lender might produce it afterwards.
And if that happens,
that'd be really bad, because then the borrower's oath would be fake, would be falsified. We can't have that.
Because of the price.
That's right, because he would say it was so much, and the lender produces it. So look, it's worth top.
If he makes it on the Bible, it's a safer oath.
So what happens is like this: the brighter works. The lender is talking. We had to flip it because the lender has to make the oath because the fridge was stolen, and if the borrower makes the oath, the lender might subsequently produce the fridge. So the lender makes the oath. Let's look at this in the Gemara. Yeah. Yeah.
Does it make a difference if does it make a difference if at the time the person, doesn't matter who, makes they genuinely believe?
No. If it's wrong, it's wrong. You should be more careful. Don't make an oath if you're not sure your facts. Don't mess about.
Isn't he making an oath saying it's no longer in my possession? Surely that's what he's making the oath. He's saying.
Yeah. Yeah, but it could be true, because at the moment it's been stolen. But next week he could find it again.
Yeah, so his oath is true. He's saying, I don't know where it is. It's not here.
Well, Rav Huna wouldn't actually require his oath in such a case when we have witness it was stolen, because Rav Huna's oath only talks about whether it's in his possession. So
Very
I
complicated.
don't require my oath, but we still require the other oath, the other oath to be flipped from the borrower to the lender.
Well,
Because if the borrower makes the oath, then the lender might produce it. So let's look at this inside. So one third line down the Gemara. If it was blown up, why are we worried about flipping the oath? There's no way the lender's going to produce it if it's been blown up. Ella, rather, Amar of Yosef, fourth line down in the Gemara. We're talking about the witnesses that the fridge was stolen. So the Gemara says, where will he get it from? And Malcolm answered, the Torah from Maisila. He'll look around and find it. He'll find it. So the Gemara says, wait a minute. So it's saying the lender makes the oath, and that way we're safe. If the lender makes the oath, just one more thing, says the Gemara. Maybe the borrower will find it. How can you be safe having the lender make the oath? Maybe the borrower will look around, if we go on Crime Stoppers, and find the fridge. Colin, you've already answered this one. You answered this before. Comes again, Colin, says no. There's a difference between the lender and the borrower. The lender knows, this is good if you watch a lot of true crime. The lender knows who's in that his house. He knows who knows his routines. He knows who he sees about the place. It's not hard for him to work out who stole it. How to somebody who has got probably an inside job. It's not some random person off the street. It's somebody who knows his way around, who knows where the fridge was, who knew where to take it so it won't be found. So he'll investigate his friends and his acquaintances and his workers, and he'll work it out. The borrower, not a clue. He doesn't live in a lender's house. Alibi. He'd love to. He lived there back in sort of hovel in the back of the dog and duck. So obviously the borrower has there's no way the borrower's going to track it down, but the lender will. So if we have, like the Bryson says, the lender making the oath, we don't worry about the borrower tracking down and subverting the lender's oath. But if, God forbid, we were to have the borrower making the oath, then we would be worried about the lender finding the burglar. So it turns out, again, the Bryson says you flip the oath. The Gemara asked, why do we need to flip the oath? Surely if the lender makes Rav Huna's oath, we have no words whatsoever. So the Gemara answers, we're talking where Rav Huna would not require his oath because it was blown up. In that case, says the Gemara, why do we need to flip the oath altogether? Just have the borrower do it in the usual way. There's no way the lender's going to produce it if it was blown up. So I said, no, I was wrong. Not that it was blown up, but it was stolen. So now Rav Huna would not require his oath to be made that is not in his possession, because as Reverend David said, we know it's not in possession, it got stolen. But we would still worry if the borrower made the oath that the lender might track it down and prove the borrower's oath wrong. But if the lender makes the oath, we don't worry about the borrower tracking it down because the borrower doesn't know who's in the lender's house. Boom, mic drop. No, that's well. We have another answer coming next week, which is again a bit like you, but more so. So let's look at this aside. Ella Amr of Yosef, 4 lines down. The witnesses that it was stolen. So says the Gemara at the end of the day. Where will the lender get it from? The Torah of Maisida. Well, he might investigate and find it. So, when the lender makes the oath, also maybe the borrower will track it down and bring the fridge and the lender's oath. So the Gemara says no. I get that the lender is okay. And he knows who's in and out of his house. And he can go and investigate and bring the fridge. But the borrower, man, I have enough of the does he know who's in and out of the lender's house? Of course he doesn't. So if you have the lender make the oath, you're safe from the borrower finding the fridge because he doesn't know where to look. He hasn't got the first clue. The lender knows. So if we have the borrower making the oath, we're worried about the lender investigating, finding the fridge afterwards, and proving the borrower's oath false. That we cannot have. That is something up with which we will not put. Therefore, we have the lender making the oath, and we're all safe. Now, Bryce makes perfect sense.
Not very truthful, that were they?
Well, we have
Potential.
checks and balances, you know. It says in the Torah, "Hashekhet Abba Pikhin," that money bribes the those who see clearly. So even somebody whom God Himself describes the Pikher as a clear-sighted person is blinded by money. Watch out! Money's an absolute killer. It's a beast and a monster.
Not David's money.
Just like your father-in-law, Judge.
My grandfather-in-law. Yeah.
Yeah, with the
With
cigars.
the cigars, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. You know this story? Yeah. My Rachel's grandfather died. The late Diane Grunfeld was hearing a case in the basting, and one morning he woke up and found a box of cigars being shot through his door. He was known to like cigars. So he came to basting, opened the proceedings, and the first thing he said was, "Gentlemen, I'm sorry to say that I'm hereby disqualified from this case." Most of the cigar, or whoever it was who put the cigars to the door, then went home and smoked a cigar.
Good on him. Good on him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, next week, please God, we'll look at Abaye, who has another way of understanding our Mishnah, which is actually our Brisa, which is actually far more elegant and simpler. Sorry, not Abaye. Is it Abaye? Yeah, Abaye. We'll deal with Abaye next week. Meantime, I think it's a good time to call it a day. So I wish you Shavua Tov, what's left of it. Have a good week. And
Thank you very much as always, Rabbi. Always mysterious.
Let me tell you quickly about the dog and horn, because you said regarding money,
right?
and so you can't trust them. Somebody went in that
Yeah.
at 6